Good day to you. My name is Mike and welcome to Codex English. In this week's episode of Newsflash, we will be having a look at a story that's all about astrophysics and space. And so, let's blast off and get started. That was a poor joke. Our story today brings us over to the Reuters news website, so let's have a read of the headline. The headline reads here then, scientists amazed by blinking stars, totally unexpected behavior. Right, so let's begin then with this word here, amazed by blinking stars. So the star is blinking. Blink is a verb, so you probably know this word to describe when you open and close and open and close your eyes. You blink. But we can also use this word to describe when a light is switching on and off. We say that the light is blinking. So in this case, the star is blinking. The scientists can see the star blinking in the night sky. So the scientists are amazed by the blinking stars, totally unexpected behavior. Okay, unexpected then. So something unexpected describes something that you didn't think was going to happen, like a surprise. So the scientists, they are surprised by this. They did not expect to see this particular type of star. So an example sentence then, I received an unexpected gift from a co-worker. How lovely. Actually, I didn't. That's a lie. So the scientists then, they are amazed. They are totally amazed by this blinking star because it was so unexpected and just very strange. Right, so let's have a read through one of the paragraphs from the article. Here we are then in language focus mode, so let's read through this paragraph. Scientists have detected what appears to be an incredibly dense star, behaving unlike anything else ever seen, and suspect it might be a type of exotic astrophysical object whose existence has until now been only hypothesized. So let's begin with this verb here, detect. Scientists have detected. Okay, so it's a verb. If you detect something, it means that you have found it. You have found its location and you have discovered that that thing exists, okay? And normally you discover something or detect something when you have been searching for it or looking for it using some kind of investigation. For example, think about a detective looking for clues about who committed a crime. He's got his magnifying glass out there, he's looking for the clues, so he's trying to detect any information about the killer or the criminal in that case. So an example sentence then, we could say that the dog used its nose to detect the hot dog. Smelled it and then detected it. Okay then, so that was detect. Let's have a look a bit further into the paragraph. So, detected what appears to be an incredibly dense. We've got an ADV and an adjective here. Okay, so incredibly. This ADV is very similar to very, and extremely. Okay, so I recommend that instead of always using the word very, you can use different ADVs that have a similar meaning, such as incredibly, or extremely, or extraordinarily. All of these words are much more interesting and more powerful as well, more descriptive than simply using very all the time. So I do recommend learning lots of other synonyms for very in terms of ADVs too. For example, instead of saying I'm very tired, you could just say I'm extremely tired. Or instead of saying I'm very hungry or really hungry, you could say I'm incredibly hungry, which would mean I'm starving. There we are then. So the ADJ after this ADV here, extremely, incredibly, dense. Okay, so when something is dense, it means that it contains a lot of things, like a lot of material in a very small area. So a good example here is to imagine a dense forest, which would be a forest that has many trees, but in a small area. So many trees are packed in there in a very small area. So it's a bit like thick in a way, but it refers to the quantity of stuff, just things in a very small area. The more things there are in an area, the more dense that area is, or that thing is. Right, moving on then. So, an incredibly dense star, behaving unlike anything else ever seen, and suspect. Okay, so the object of this verb, the scientists suspect it might be a type of something. Okay then, so to suspect something then means to believe or think that something is probably true. And you can use this verb instead of think or believe as a less direct and a softer way of saying I think something is true. Okay, so for example, if someone stole my Lindor box of chocolates, then, well, it would probably be Terry. So I might say, I suspect that it was Terry who stole my box of Lindor chocolates. It's always Terry. So the scientists then, they suspect that it's probably true that this is what? What do they think is probably true? Let's have a look. So, and suspect it might be a type of exotic astrophysical object. Okay, we've got two adjectives together here. Let's begin with this one. Exotic. So, I really like this word. It has a nice sound to it. So something that is exotic is very unusual and highly interesting. Incredibly interesting, we could say. Okay, and this word is also often used to describe something that's from an exotic country. And that normally means a country that's very far away, and especially one that is in a tropical area of the world as well. Okay, you might be able to say as an example that there are many rare exotic birds in the country Dominica, which is a small island in the Caribbean. And so you can see that exotic is also a good adjective to describe this star that the scientists have detected, because it's very strange, very unusual. They haven't seen this kind of thing before, and ultimately they are extremely interested in this highly unusual object that they found. Okay, so on to that next adjective here. We've got exotic astrophysical. Astrophysical here. Okay then, so astrophysical is the adjective for the noun astrophysics. Astrophysics is a field of science that deals with exploring and studying natural objects in space, such as planets and stars and moons, those kind of things. So they're calling it an astrophysical object. Simply means that it's a natural object in space, because they're pretty sure it's a type of exotic star. So that's what they're talking about here. Okay. So an astrophysical object whose existence has until now been only hypothesized. Okay, this is another sciencey sort of word here, but can also be used in many general situations too. It's a verb, as I said. To hypothesize means to suggest an idea that explains something. Or it can also mean to suggest that something is probably true, but that thing's existence has not been proven yet. There is no proof so far, but we hypothesize that it probably is true or that it exists. So that's what the scientists are saying about this star here. Until now, they haven't actually seen such a star, okay? Or I should say they hadn't seen such a star until now, but they had predicted it, hypothesized that it existed. So it's a bit similar to predict. It's likely that it existed, but up until this point, they hadn't actually seen such a star yet. But now they've seen one and it's very exotic, so they're very interested in checking out this star here. So we can summarize the story here. It's about some scientists who have found a very unusual type of star that they previously hypothesized to exist. They predicted it would exist, but they've only just found one. This is the first time they've actually found it, and so they are very excited to study this particular object in space, an astrophysical object there. There we are then. So that's everything for today's episode. I definitely recommend that you learn the word incredibly and similar adverbs as well for emphasizing adjectives, especially when you're talking about your feelings about things. Instead of just saying really or very all the time, try to use words such as incredibly, extremely, extraordinarily. Words like that, they will give much better variety to your English. Well, as usual, please do feel free to leave me any comments down below. If you have any questions about anything in today's video, I'm always happy to answer. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Cheerio.